Hello all, Seriously is here with another base tour. Today we are going to be taking a look at my home sweet home, where I basically spend all of my AFK time. I do all of my Nexus missions from this location. I basically hang out here until I need to go do something in the game. So actually not a lot of time, because you're always doing something in the game, whether it's freighters, derelicts. Those are so much fun. I've been doing those a lot this week. Sorry for no base tours. But yeah, I hang out here in my off time. So this is my relaxation home. It is on a beautiful, lush planet with some very nice alien colors. As you can see, both the grass and the water are a nice teal shade with very nice lavender skies. We've got a beautiful ring up in the horizon. And some interesting tree colors. I'm glad they spawned in. For some reason, this base might be a bit heavy on the count of items, and trees don't always spawn in nearby. I think there's even some more supposed to be over in this area here. Yeah, we'll get to that, don't worry. That little structure there, it's part of the base. As we can see, here is the base proper. Take a quick pan around. And we got some floaties in the air. Oh, well, there's something that's not spawning in, but that's sort of a good thing, so we'll be able to show you how it's made. Got some floating amoeba monsters up in the sky over there. Alright, where to begin? Well, we can start with the landing pads. As you come in, we get welcome with a message. This planet, actually this star system is called Tanagra, so it's a Star Trek reference, and so is the message module. You can see we have the lounge area. This floor here is the lounge with the patio. Very nice views here. And the lounge area continues into this area. I did have some, what are they called, the bloom lighting here, but it is so bright, especially with the new lighting effects. And these rooms are metal on the inside, so they reflect it even more. As you can see, it's already very bright. So I had to remove those and replace them with these crystals, which also look very nice. Let's see if I can get around without too much climbing. Nope, apparently not. Downstairs, we don't have them moved in at this base, but we have all of the technician rooms. As you can probably guess, this is the room for the agricultural technician. Lockers, we have some blinds in all of the rooms, as you can see. You need to have some privacy, but you also might want to be able to look out the window. Passing up back through the lounge, we get to, I believe this is the armorers, yes. A little more Spartan in the armorer's quarters. He doesn't need as much, just a lot of guns. And of course, a nice fighter model. We're going to go to the scientist room next. I fashioned a bed for the scientist as well, as a Corvax. I thought a recharging chamber, like a Borg cubicle, would suffice for him. He has a robot companion that apparently sneaks up through the top floor now and then. Whoops. Yeah, sort of fabrication station here. I don't know if it's 3D printers or what they use in this version, but we've got a planning room, which is really noisy, and I can't stand the sound of. Sorry, everybody. Servers, computers, you know, exactly the sort of stuff you'd expect in the science technician's room. And of course, on the top floor, we have the overseer's room, because he oversees everybody, right? And he gets a lot of planning terminals. There's a lot of meticulous Machiavellian planning. It's communication, long distance planning. He's got it all. And also blinds. They've all got different colors of blinds. I'm not too picky on that. They don't all show up from the back. These are just the flags with the light at the top, turned around and faced the other way. From the outside, you can't see the lights or really the symbols, so it doesn't show up that bad. But you can't get a lot of color variation on these. It's really only the trim that changes, unfortunately. Alright, moving on from this area. Oh, and here, you might wonder, why is that couch not facing inward? It's just a viewing area for the portal. This base is built just over 800 units away from the portal, so you can have close access to intergalactic travel. And on this side we have the other landing pad. So happy that the NPCs do land here now. Not right now, apparently, but one was here when I got here, so that's great. Barrel fabricators, does this one give the data we need? It does, so if you don't have your starship, I try to get these on all my landing pads so that you can call your starship. That will always bring navigation data. These are location dependent. If I placed one right here, it might give, I don't know, condensed carbon, and it would always give condensed carbon. So you got to find a spot for it that'll give navigation data and place that on your landing pads. Very helpful for yourself even. Here we have a nice, just I don't know, waiting room with some nice trees, arboretum maybe. Above we do have biodome. We're not harvesting stuff here. You need to grow certain amounts of certain plants, or you needed to. I'm not sure if that mission is still one of them. I'm making a list. I am making a list of all of the items you need for all of the base building missions. And at some point, one of the base building missions asked you for specific plants. I do know for sure that it was this amount of Fecium and Mordite, and I believe Gamma and Frostwort were also asked for. Anyway, I'm not farming them here, they're just here for the build a base missions. And because they look nice, and why not have some access to some plants? Down this side we have the production facility. We have the base cache, and we have five large refiners. And these were not glitched in. These were placed back in the day when there were no limitations on placing large refiners. This is a fairly old base. I've been building it, I don't know, I want to say since September, end of September, maybe October of 2019. Right after Beyond came out when I got the game. Took me, I don't know, probably about 12 hours to get here. We're right at the galactic core of Euclid. This is my first game, my first save game, normal mode. I got here in about 12 hours. It would have been a lot faster if I'd known certain things. I didn't even want to get to the core necessarily. I wanted to get to other galaxies, and I made a foolish mistake and I rejected the Atlas. That's a bit of a spoiler, but I'm not going to go into too many more details. But if you don't want to make the same mistake I did and you do want to travel to distant galaxies, it's a one-time chance. Don't reject the Atlas. Outside here we got Starbulb. It is a Lush planet. You can grow these outside without any glitchery. Some atmospheric harvesters if you want some nitrogen, even though we don't need it. Is it nitrogen we make here? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, nitrogen. At the cost of carbon? No thanks, even though there's a bunch of it planted right out here. We'll get to the garage in a minute. This is the only base that I have ever activated the power doors with a motion sensor. I'm not a fan of how the wiring works. I don't know enough about it, and it's hard to hide this stuff. You can put it underneath, but then you still have to do this sort of finagly stuff. Not a fan. But it's definitely very versatile. You can do a lot with it, and you can hide the wires now. So I should get into it eventually, but we'll see. Sometimes I like the wires to show. Before we had the Overseer's room, I put this as a sort of a welcoming room. This was the sign in, I guess, if this was going to be a player hotel, like a one night, you spend the night here before you make your journey on to the center of the galaxy sort of deal. So we would have a check-in, like a bed and breakfast, I guess is the way to phrase it. And upstairs would be your personal living quarters with a whole bunch of functionality included. Computer terminals, a little sitting area, and in here we have, we can check the base power supply. It's now powered using electromagnetic generators, but this is a holdover from the days when this entire base was powered with a lot of solar panels, all of them buried underground. Some nice round windows in. I really like the way these ones look. Alright, let's get upstairs to the bedroom area. Just some decoration. I managed to put these panels and a shelf in this way, just to add something to the walls, because they're very bleak on these cuboid rooms. You've got to add it, I don't know, paintings or something to make them look not so barren. No, we don't want to go up yet. Sitting area, explorer, statue, because this is for explorers. We've gotten to the center of the galaxy. Nice little bed and a changing room. Some privacy curtains that I'm very happy that are solid walls, actually. You cannot walk through these. It's pretty cool. Yeah, there we go. And upstairs, we have another viewing area. Just to get a nice overlook of the whole base from all sides. Oh, hey, little shippies. Careful. You guys almost hit that skin tab coming up out of the ground. We'll go take a look at those amoebas and the garage in a second. Hop down. Boop. Nope, don't hop back on. I'm not a fan of ladders, and this is the base that convinced me to not use ladders. See, look at that. Grab, grab, grab. Right, here we have another waiting room. This is right beneath the portal room. This is where you will portal in. I'm sure you could have already heard it howling away. Unfortunately, it's not spawned in, but right out there you can see the Nomad exocraft sometimes hovering by in the window. Alright, let's go take a look at that garage. As you can see, we have the roamer in here. These biofuel reactors are hooked up to the grid. You can put power in them. You don't need to because of the EM generators, but they're needed for the build-a-base missions. You need 6 of these. I don't know where number 6 is. Oh, there it is over here. And you do need to fuel them for that one specific mission. And I think you just need to put some fuel in one now, but it was broken for a while and it wasn't able to be completed, which is a hassle. It's a little tight quarters, but you can get out and get rocketed off of this jump pad here. Very nice garage rooney for our exocraft. Outside we have, oh, that's where the roamer is. Okay, we're gonna have to fix that first because that's not where the roamer goes. Sorry, the Nomad. The Nomad goes up here. Nice little launching pad for that vehicle. Not quite. What was it? Thunderbirds? There was a fun marionette show when I was a kid that had a whole bunch of, I think it might have been Thunderbirds. Thunder something. Anyway, they all had vehicle launching pads, and I sort of wanted to recreate that feel. And you bother me. What do we got going on? You know what the terrain manipulator would have done, but I don't want to fix the ground after, so we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. There you go. So yeah, all of these fit together nicely. Over here we have the separate garage for, I wonder if you can guess which exocraft goes in here. It's very large. Oh, and it's fallen off of its pad. Let's fix that for it. And speaking of tight fits, this one is also a very tight fit. But it can get in and out of here. You're going to want to back it in. You can't turn around in there. You might just want to actually just park outside and summon it back in. That's what I do. So let's quickly take a look at those floating amoebas before I forget them. When these bushes came into the game, I decided this was definitely going to be the best use for them. Oh, everything spawned in now. Well, rats. If one of the pieces was missing, I could have showed you how I made that one over there. If I go into camera mode, I've given away the address. There we go. You can travel to the center of the galaxy and visit for yourselves. Let's make it daytime. Alright. Oh, there it is. It's missing again. That's interesting. Oh, it's still missing. It just from that angle it wasn't missing. So we can see how we made this one. It is with a light box and a bunch of pill lights on it so that their connection points are centered on the light box as best as is possible. And then I've snapped these plants to it using the Blender glitch or Banjo glitch. One of the two. I confused their names. One of those two fancy glitches with a connection point and some wires. It's really fun. This version here, which doesn't have any missing, and unfortunately here, if we get a look from this side, you can sort of see how round this one looks. It is missing one. This one is a bit more wide, a bit of a chunky boy. You can see it's not exactly spherical, it's sort of oblong compared to the other one. The way that I made this version was a really complicated method involving shrinking and rotating a nearby piece and then adjacency building the other plants onto this. It's convoluted, it works, but it takes a little bit more trial and error to set up. And you have to eyeball it. You have to eyeball it. I mean, these are just tendrils. They can be mixed together in weird ways, so it's fine. But you have to eyeball that version. And this version just snaps together very nicely. And if you don't build it at a base with 1,000 of the pieces, it draws perfectly fine. It usually draws perfectly fine all the time anyway, but now and then that top piece will go missing. You can see how it's built. Another neat thing here, go back into camera mode for a sec so it's daylight. You can see that I've managed to do some of the fun detail glitching for these metal roof panels so that the metal pieces can match the textures you can get on the cuboid rooms. So you've got that brushed steel and reflective gold coloring. Normally when you pick black and yellow for these roof panels, they're literally just flat black and bright yellow. And they're not brushed steel black and gold. And I believe I've actually done that with the concrete here as well, but it's harder to tell because the only thing that changes on the concrete, yeah, you can see it's reflective silver on the line there. So the concrete doesn't take the textures as well, but you can change that metal bar around the edge of the concrete pieces to be different colors. Lots of little detail stuff went into this build. Stuff I've done as I learned without deleting the whole base as I went. This is the entrance room. This is the... No, do neither of those empty? That's right, neither of those empty out into the library. Here you can see we have the animal feeding units. You need to build these for one of the missions. This is the hardest thing to do. This is one of the reasons why the build a base missions are hard to do right off of the bat. This mission here requires you to be able to build polyfiber. I think it's polyfiber because one of these components needs a polyfiber. And you'll just get stuck and you won't be able to complete the mission because you can't just buy polyfiber anywhere. You have to either craft it or get another player to craft it. But on the other side of that, we have our bank area. Tried to get this look as much like what I thought a bank would look like in No Man's Sky. You know, with the nice view, skylights, plants, and of course vaults surrounding you on every side. Like deposit boxes might be. Very nice deposit box room. These I've glitched in using a battery. Actually, one of these is glitched in on the inside, and the outside two are glitched in using a battery. So this is just a simple wire glitch that I eyeballed into as close as the middle as I could find. And the other two I placed a battery in as close to the middle as I could find, and I glitched them onto the battery so they came in face down and come into the room. These provide a tremendous amount of light. I can't get enough of those things. Another little viewing room for the portal. As I said, I'm glad the trees are showing up. It looks really weird when none of these trees appear. Very sparse. On either side of the bank we have some more plants. Just all of the weird ones. We've got Nip Nip, Gravitino, one of each of the weird ones, Sac Venom, and what's the other one? Albumin Pearls, yes, on this side. And of course some carbon. Can't have a base that doesn't have a standing planter in it. And up here we have the Museum of Oddities. Oh wow, these things have really tremendously increased in brightness. That's sort of cool. Actually, it looked a lot better when these were faint. But now the force fields look really secure. These items look very well protected, except this cube's still coming out. But it was supposed to just be holding it there, not like sealing it in. But yeah, I like it. I like it. I haven't been in this room since the lighting update. I've been afraid to look. But it's pretty cool. This one just barely fits. Getting these centered was not fun. Basically, you put a bunch of the light fissures in rooms beneath this one, and the light shines up through the floor, and you place these items such that they're right in the middle of the beam of light. Just a fun little technique to have a little bit of a force field protecting these things. It'd be great if you could resize these items. You can resize these, because they're plants you bought with Quicksilver, they're blueprints, but these glitches can't be resized except with mods. And I'm not using mods because not everyone can, and not everyone will be using the same mods. And we are in a multiplayer game, so I don't want to use stuff that other people can't. I think we've seen everything except that one little thing that we peeked at the beginning. And I didn't show off yet. What's going to be the best way to get there? Well, let's just remind everybody. It's that little weird tower structure looking there. Got some horns, some horned face thing going on. Oh, I haven't shown the underneath. This is built over a bit of a chasm. This is why I chose this location for this base. And this is what I wanted to do, was put some supports on some landing pads. It was tricky, pretty tricky. I needed to set up a scaffold using, I think I used, oh, what are they called? Not the pyramid pieces. It might have been the pyramid, actually, now that I think about it. But one of the angled construction pieces. Then I was able to place these off of them at a desired angle. And I had to set up the scaffolding such that when it got to the top, I was able to place them and it looked like it touched. As you can see on some of them, that one over there, right in the middle of the screen here, it's just barely touching, and on this side it is touching. So my scaffolding wasn't set up perfectly, but good enough for me. Anyway, this is where we want to be. See that last little thing? We're underneath the patio. That's not connected either. This was done before I learned how to make these things more perfectly connected to base pieces. There's a little bit of a short-range teleporter hidden up here that'll save us the trip of jetpacking down there. So we'll move down here. This structure here above us, I had to put in these floor panels and these stair panels because I removed them. As you might have noticed, there's no wooden pieces. I haven't shown you any wooden pieces in this base. There are a bunch, and they're buried in the ground underneath the base proper, up there on the mountain. I At some point, the base building missions stopped asking you to build those bases that asked for wood, concrete, and metal pieces. They were just removed from the game. So I went through this base and I deleted all of those wooden, concrete, and metal pieces. And then they got added back into the game. And this base was no longer considered an automatic completion for base building missions. So I've had to add them back in. The wood ones I buried again, because they just didn't fit the theme, but I already had this concrete tower here for the walls, so the walls were done. I met the threshold for concrete walls. I just needed some flooring pieces. I think that's a roof piece. Oh yeah, these are roof pieces I needed, not flooring pieces. I have the flooring pieces in the base. Obviously concrete's a great building piece, but I didn't use any of the roof pieces. So I've had to add some stuff in. Just made it a little bit of a protection for this teleport in to a naturally generated cave opening. What do we have here, you might think? Well, I'll tell you, it's the Minotaur's Labyrinth. Underneath my base, I discovered some really neat caves, and you gotta be careful, there's definitely toxic flowers in here, and that's where I've put my Minotaur summoning station. Because it's a bit of a maze down here, and you can't get the Minotaur out through that hole we came in from. So the idea is it's a bit of a challenge game where you would come in and summon your Minotaur, get into it, and try to find a way out. As you can see up here, I've added a couple stair pieces because right beside this I found a hole that you could jump out even without any upgrades in your Minotaur. This was a short enough distance that you could just hop right out. But there is an exit. I have found it. It took me about 45 minutes of wandering around in my mech to find a way out. I'm fairly certain there's only the one way out, and we're not going to do it on the tour because I did not memorize the way. The only placement in here I did was these lights to hopefully guide you back to the player exit, the character-sized hole. And in case you want to give up and come back out the easy way, which I've done many a time because that is not an easy thing to do, finding a natural way out of a cave. And because it's built on a base, in theory, you shouldn't be able to terrain manipulate your way out, so it should be cheat-proof, but I can't promise that. I play tested it with somebody, and he was immediately able to terrain manipulate his way out, at least in one corner of the maze. So it's possible. I just need to extend base components all the way around. Where is that thing? I know the real exit's around here somewhere. There it is. Yeah, and I put some stairs on this side to actually help you climb out, because this one, without upgrades, is not tall enough to jump out. So if you don't have any upgrades, you're going to have to climb these stairs a bit before you use your jetpack on your back to get out of the hole. But so far as I can tell, that's the only exit. I suppose since we're here, and as you can see, when stuff doesn't load in, you can see the wiring for the lighting on those warning lights I've got. Boop, boop, there, pop in, boop, 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 boop. Did we get the amoeba? No, the amoeba did not pop back in. Oh well. Let's see if I can get all the way up the skin tab. Woo! Oh yeah. I got this puppy tricked out. Up and over the skin tab. Whee! Unfortunately, and one of the reasons why the base is built up on the mountain up there is because this planet does have a hostile creature. One player predator. There's two predators on the planet. One that's a nice big cat that only hunts other animals. They'll never bother you. And a tiny, annoying crab that'll run out of nowhere and snip your heels. And for some reason, the crabs don't seem to spawn on these volcanic rock outcroppings. I don't know if that's intentional or just a coincidence, But yeah, I've never been attacked by a crab while I'm on the base or on any of these little mountainous areas. If I'm doing a base animal feeding mission here, I can stand on the edge and throw creature pellets to them to get them to not attack me. Or I can blast them. So anyway, I started blasting because they're crabs and they started it. They start, damn crabs, damn crabs. Well, this has been Tanagra. Temba his arms wide. Everybody is welcome. As you may have seen, there are some other bases on this planet. Other people have joined me while I've been on the anomaly AFK. They've just come to this planet, seen it. It's pretty cool. Perfect weather all the time. Never has storms. The only downside is that it sometimes goes to night and you don't get to see this beautiful teal and purple combination. Oh, I already grabbed my navigation data. I don't need more. And that one's antimatter anyway. There we go. That'll be it. Well, until next time, everybody. Have a good time.